The Sony A7S3 is an incredible camera, but is it as good as everyone is saying it is? I've been trying to get hold of an A7S3 for months, and I finally managed to get my hands on one at the end of November last year. If you've been paying any attention to the news, you will know that my opportunity to use this camera over the last 6 weeks in the UK has been fairly minimal. I think all of my professional work since then has been editing jobs, so I've not actually shot a professional shoot with it yet, and I'm dying to do so. But that's not stopped me extensively testing it around my house and around my local area, and I've got a lot of initial thoughts about the camera. And it quickly became apparent that there are a few things that I really don't like about it. Firstly, I want to talk about all the things that I absolutely love about the camera, but if you're just here for the negativity, head to this part of the video to see the things I do not like about this camera. So most of my comparisons in this video are with the A7 III and the A7R3, which I've used for the last 2 years, both for shooting photo and video. I did want to film this video holding the S3, but that is filming me right now, and I'd rather film using that camera than using one of these. So I'm just going to wave this about, pretend it's an S3, and just cut to B-roll of the S3, probably filmed with this. So yeah, the benefits of this camera, I absolutely love how the camera feels in your hands. It's a great size without being too big. It's got a proper record button that the A7 III and R3 didn't have. The joystick feels better to use. It's got proper port covers on the side, so you don't have to worry about the rain getting in or the just flapping about in the way, which they tended to do all the time. It is just fantastic build quality. And the screen on the camera is so much better than the A7 III, which honestly had one of the worst screens I've used in recent times. I've been using mirrorless and DSLR cameras for a while now, and I can't remember the last time I used a camera with a screen as bad as the R3 and the A7 III. And considering how new they are, it's been a real downside to those cameras. Like, a lot of the time you can't really tell using the inbuilt screens whether you're even in focus or not, which is just ridiculous from a video creation point of view. But the screen in this is worlds apart. It is fantastic. It's bright, it turns around, it flips, it articulates, you can fold it in and put it away when your camera's in your bag so you don't accidentally scratch it. You wouldn't want any more from the screen than it offers. It's just great. Onto the performance side of things, I cannot imagine you'd ever want any more recording modes than this camera offers. I truly believe that I will have this camera in my kit until it falls apart in my hands. In my opinion, you don't need 6K, you don't need 8K most of the time, you don't even need 4K because of what these videos are being shown on if you are a creator for digital and social like I am. It's just got every mode you could ever wish for. The autofocus in this camera is just incredible as well. There's so many videos on the autofocus. It just tracks you so well wherever you go. It's just really impressive, the autofocus. I'm used to focusing manually because I never trusted the autofocus on the previous cameras, but I honestly think that I will use the autofocus on this. It feels like cheating, but it's just so good. You can just trust it to work all the time. Although I've not tested it fully yet, the low light performance is just amazing. It's like night vision. I took a picture in my dark kitchen and it just came out like daylight. It's just incredible. So I'm really looking forward to getting on some nighttime shoots when I can and filming in low light, because I think it's going to have some really impressive results. And on from that, the picture quality is just sublime. The color science is great. The color modes are brilliant. Honestly, from that point of view, it's such a jump from the A7 III, and I'm just really impressed with it. So if it's really that good, what parts of it do I hate? Firstly, the file sizes and the bit depths, and I know that they have to be that big to pull in all that data. If we want the good color science, if we want the great colors, if we want the 10-bit, they have to be as they are. But I really begrudge paying £150 for a memory card when I'm used to paying 22 quid for them. I really begrudge the amount of hard drives I'm going to have to buy, and I really begrudge how much those files slow down my iMac, because I bought this computer behind me 2 years ago and I fully spec'd it out, and it just runs so much slower with these files than I'm used to, which is a real shame. But if you want those brilliant files out of it, that brilliant color, that brilliant look, that's just something you've got to live with. So as the video data sizes are really quite insane, I do not like the fact it's only 12 megapixels. And again, I know the reason why. It wouldn't be as good in low light as it is if it was any more megapixels. That's just the science behind it. There's videos out there that explains it better than I'm gonna explain it now. But to have more megapixels in it and be able to shoot higher res images would be great. 12 megapixels is fine for most uses though. If you're just out there shooting shots for Instagram, for example, 12 megapixels is more than enough. It's more than enough for most web work. It's only for the high-end client shoots that you probably need more than that. You probably want to look at like 22 megapixels as an absolute minimum. If you're wanting to print any bigger, you should be looking at probably over 40. So 12 seems really small, and that is a slight disappointment, because it means I can never just take this camera on a job with me. I'd have to take my R3 as well, because that's 40 whatever megapixels, and I just need that there just for that peace of mind. The third thing I wish the A7S3 had that it doesn't, and I don't like about it because of this, is 35mm crop mode in video. And this has it, the A7 III has it. So basically you've got a full frame, and going into crop mode punches in. It's almost like a zoom without losing any detail. So in 4K, you can punch in by 1.5 times on the shot and you're still getting 4K. And that's just because of the sensor size. And that's the reason this camera doesn't have it, because it's only a 12 megapixel sensor. It's got no room to punch it in. But not having that feels like a real loss when I'm so used to it. I honestly use that mode on pretty much every single shoot, because quite often it meant the difference between changing lenses and not changing lenses. And now I think probably I might have to change lenses a bit more just to get that extra bit of zoom on my shots that I'm used to. I'm sure I'll get over it, I'll get used to it, but it is disappointing. Next is the audio interface, and I know it's a mirrorless camera, so you can't have everything, but I would have loved it to have an XLR port, and I get that it's just not possible. But that's not quite what I hate. What I hate is the fact that the official Sony hot shoe adapter with an XLR input to match it all up, I forget what it's called, I'll put the name up here, that is £600. My shotgun mic, my audio recorder, my boom, my stand for the boom, and my cable didn't cost me anywhere near that. £600 to be able to plug an XLR in, and then that goes straight into the camera, is just unfathomably expensive, and that really annoys me. So now, well, I either pay that, or I record audio that I'm not happy with, or I record audio separately on my Zoom recorder and sync it up in post, which I normally do. Or I think I can piggyback my Zoom audio recorder into the jack in the camera. I've never tried it, but it just seems like such a faff. And yeah, I refuse to pay £600 just to be able to plug the XLR into the camera. And finally, controversially, I hate the menu system. Okay, I don't hate the menu system. The menu system's awesome. But what I do hate is that it's different to the other cameras I still use. I still use the R3. The R3 is my backup camera on shoots now. This is my A cam. The R3 is my B cam. And the fact that they've got two different menu systems is really irritating. I really wish Sony would retrospectively update the menu systems on their older cameras in a firmware update, because being able to use the same menu system in every camera you've got on your shoot is so beneficial, when it just means you can set the cameras up in exactly the same way, and you can change modes in exactly the same way without having to go to different menu options. Having two different menu systems can be really confusing when you want to shoot. So I just wish the menu system in the S3 could be identical to the R3, or rather the other way around. I don't want the S3 menu system to change, I want the R3 menu system to change, but it is, as I say, really annoying that they're different. So sort it out, please, Sony, please. So overall, it's a fantastic camera system. It's just a wonderful piece of video creation kit, and it's a good camera as well. It's a good stills camera, especially if you're only shooting for the gram. And like I say, it's going to be a part of my kit for many years to come. I'm just delighted with how it functions, aside from those few gripes, which I think I'll just have to get used to, because any other camera that shoots the way this one does would probably have similar issues. One day I'll be able to afford a cine camera with an XLR input, so if anyone does want to donate me an FX6, that would be great. If you can't do that, I'd love it if you would like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, post a comment below if you've got anything to say about this video or anything about filmmaking in general. And until next time.